Well, I just love to serve the Lord, and I love being with the family of God.
And when people see the body of Christ, when they see young men, young women working together, loving each other, and that is not always real easy. You choose to love one another, and that's what people see.
We're here to serve the Lord, right? We're going out here, we're going to do these yard days, going to serve meals, going to pull weeds all day, right? Which might not be as exciting as traveling down to Tijuana and running a VBS, but we're all still doing it for the same purpose, which is the glory of God.
And he rewards good works, listen, not because we, through our good works, earn reward, but rather because he graciously in Christ is pleased to accept it.
The partners are really driving this ministry now. La Roca, Barrier Rescue Mission, and Higher Ground. They understand their context, they understand what works in their context of ministry, and so they have been more directive about how we can really help them and come alongside with that.
There are lots of people who want to come and serve, but to be honest with you, and I'm just very candid about this, they come because they want to make themselves feel good. It's not about the people that we serve. So I tell people all the time, if that's really the reason why you came, you really shouldn't be here. You really should not be here. You should be here because you really want to give of yourself and be used of yourself.
So Eric had his main 3 points that were glorify God, proclaim the gospel to unbelievers, and strengthen like-minded churches. And so going into this trip, that was kind of our goal, was to find something, some sort of ministry that we could do that would do those 3 things, and that would we would be able to be serving others, glorifying God in our actions, spreading the gospel to those who don't believe, and strengthening like-minded churches, like Higher Grounds.
I'm Pastor Dempsey. I'm the lead pastor here at Higher Ground Church. I'm responsible each week for teaching and preaching and counseling God's people, and we're in the sanctuary of Higher Ground Church. This church actually started in Western Christian Bookstore, downtown Oakland, in 2000. I was fresh out of college and decided to leave Dallas, Texas to come back home to plant a church. Initially, I wanted to be on staff at someone else's church, but the more I attempted to do that, I became more disenchanted with what I was learning and what was being taught. And so my initial desire was to restore biblical Christianity back to the African American church. And so I used to do the devotions for my job at Western Christian Bookstore. At that time, the owner decided to have me come every Sunday and to preach and to teach, and that's how Higher Ground got started. Just me and myself and my mother and my father and my brothers and sisters. We met every Sunday, and in 2000 we decided to make it official and started Higher Ground Church. This week has just been outstanding. I mean, in terms of the impact that you guys have left here, really opened my eyes to the potential of what can happen in this community if we would come together. If we had people, resources, we could get a lot accomplished, just with the basketball camp, all of the ministry and service projects. These are things I feel like more people in this church should be involved in. And so it's been just a blessing to be able to witness it. I wish more of our people would have been here to see it.
My name's Jeff Loving, and I'm running a camp here at Higher Ground Church, a basketball camp for youth ages kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade. Every day we begin camp with 4 different stations. The kids will go to a shooting station, they'll go to a one-on-one move station, they'll go to a passing station, and they'll go to a ball handling station. So they'll do each station for about 9-10 minutes. We'll bring them back in, and then the counselors will demonstrate what we call our big prize competition. And that will be, first day it was one-on-one, second day it was knockout, third day, which was today, was a game called Moneyball, and tomorrow will be an obstacle course. If you win that competition, then you get a big prize, which has been posters or basketballs. And then we finish the day off with games, and Pastor Billy and Mr. Quay will come in and talk to them all, We'll close in prayer, and then we hand out an inordinate amount of candy for all the kids. What I've been impressed with is the 4 boys that are helping me are 1 freshman and 3 sophomores. And man, they love the Lord and they love kids, and they've been able to put those things into play and just serve God that way. So that's been impressive to me, something that I've been encouraged by. I look back when I was that age, I wasn't that way. I didn't have that kind of selfless attitude to give up your spring break, to come here, to sleep on a floor, and then just have so much energy and love and joy to give to these kids. That's been impressive to me.
What it has done for me, it has whet in me a burning to continue to do it because you guys have come. I don't think that before you guys come, I would have had the zeal or even believed that we could accomplish something like this. But to see it at work and to see kids enjoying themselves has been a blessing.
We had basically 2 work sites. We were rehabbing their shed out behind their house. It needed a new roof. It had a lot of rot on the roof. All the tails needed to be replaced. A lot of the wood sheathing underneath the shingles was rotted, and the shingles themselves needed to be replaced. So we tore the roof off, tore the plywood off, cut out all the bad tails, replaced them, and basically brought the whole roof up to where it should be. We're currently painting it. We've installed for today because of the rain. We've also been working here in the entry. It was in pretty neglected shape. We've come in and we started by just kind of cleaning everything, sanding it. We then painted the moldings and the ceilings, and today they went through and put several coats of paint on all the walls. One thing impressed me. Usually people sign up for construction, and so non-construction people just don't show up. And this time, because of the way it was structured, everybody showed up. And even people that didn't want to do construction, they'd be a little hesitant at first. But I gotta say, as a whole, everybody in the high school group, just once they put their shoulder to it, they had a good time. And they did nice work, you know? You could tell it was important to them that the Dempseys, when we walk away, would have something that they could be proud of, and that we would be a blessing to them, not a burden by leaving behind, shoddy work.
We're weeding, and then we are going to put bark down. And this is where the Dempseys they want a dog. So this used to be a dog kennel a number of years ago. This will be now turned back into a dog kennel. But you don't want the dog all muddy, so you got to put bark down.
No, we're turning the soil so that it makes a garden. And Bailey and I are having a lot of difficulty getting the shovel into the ground. So yeah, we've been standing on them, and they just kind of don't move. It's not, which is fun.
I've received a lot of words of encouragement this week about how they've been blessed by the word. And also, it's always just a blessing to be able to fellowship different ethnicities coming together to fellowship, because we don't typically get that. I do believe that the church is not built on one race of people. I think the church, our identity in Christ is through the blood. We're able to come together and have genuine fellowship because we believe the same doctrines, and I just see a great blessing in that. When we come together as different ethnic bodies to represent Christ, there is an enriching process. I'm being enriched by just the fellowship with the students here.
All right, y'all ready?
You gotta loosen up. Yeah, you gotta feel it. You know what I mean?
Fluidity. You just gotta feel it. It's more of a bounce.
Hey, don't send this to Northcreek.
We're moving in. We're moving in today.
I'm standing in front of the girls' wing. All the girls are sleeping in rooms back there.
Right now we're in one of the guys' sleeping rooms.
Each room is pretty big, so there's probably 2 to 2.5 teams of girls and guys respectively.
No guys in the girls' room. Girls, do not invite the guys in, even though you may need them to help roll out your sleeping bag, right? No? Okay, good.
And as you can probably tell, it's a mess.
Stuff's all over the place, but honestly it's super fun because we can all just kind of lay on each other's stuff.
There's stuff literally everywhere you step. Like, there's a sleeping bag at my feet right now.
We've all figured out bathrooms and showers, and we're all like helping each other out with, you know, things. And
oh, this person was nice and tidy. Old Spice, classic deodorant. I don't really use it. I like the spray, but I know who sleeps here. This is my good friend Chad Lewis.
And can you just
let's go.
camera put that?
Well, so that was the sleeping place for some guys, and I don't really know how to finish this.
The unity in each room is awesome.
MTV Cribs, signing out.
Okay. Let's get this thing going. We got yard days to do. I'm Rod McCleary, and I'm elder to Student Ministries. We're in the basement of my house in Lafayette. This is where I fix things. I'm not sure I needed the help, but they decided that they wanted to help do some yard work in my yard. Last February, in those heavy winter storms that we had, a tree went down and came down and clipped the edge of my house, knocked part of the deck off, took a little bit of the roof and the gutter, and just generally made a real mess of the yard. And I had a crew come in of regular professionals, and they took most of the tree, but it left an awful lot of brush and other little trees that it had knocked down. The students today were able to go and drag most of that stuff, the brushy stuff, up out of the creek and crush it and put it in a trailer. God used the students to help me to get the yard in good shape, and I really appreciate it. Very much appreciate their help. Love to see that balance of you're sharing the gospel, you're also physically helping other Christians.
My name is Evelyn Newsom. I'm a widow. I've been a widow for 9 years now. And previously, my husband was in charge of any maintenance issues around the house, anything that needed to be done. He was a great handy person. And so when I learned about your outreach out here and an opportunity to take advantage of that, it was like, wow, I've got projects. So it's just been a great help for me to get things done, and also with this group doing it, because today a lot of youth in their spare time on a summer break or spring break would have their time planned out, but it's just been great to see you guys coming in, not grudgingly, but willingly, and I can just see you guys an example for other youth. It's like God put that burden on their heart to give of their time, to show love to each other, and so everyone has been so friendly, and how can I help, and I think it's just, for me, showing His providence for me. He's using you guys to provide to me what I need in a way that's, I think, beneficial to both of us.
They're not these. These are something else. These are double C's.
Okay, so right now I'm working on a fan that we took down the old fan, ceiling fan and light fixture, and we are replacing it. So right now we're working on constructing the new one, and so Caleb and Jared and I are putting on the fan blades.
I'm Matt Avery, and I've been here all week at the Moutier's house replacing their fence. It's a little different, addressing more of a physical need rather than spiritual. In James, faith without actions is dead. And, we're not saved by our actions or our deeds, but we are called and compelled by our faith to be out here doing the deeds. And it was great that we have no injuries. All our fingers and arms are still attached, so they were fantastic.
I'm Brent, this is Casey, and this week you guys helped to build a fence. And Casey and I spent many years in high school and on high school staff doing very similar service projects like this, so we know exactly how much work you guys put into this, and we are so incredibly thankful. It's definitely something that we would not have been able to do without your help and without Matt's help. So guys, we're incredibly grateful.
And this came in just the nick of time. We had a huge windstorm last night, and if this new fence wasn't up, I think I would have been picking up splinters all over the road back there. So thank you very much, you guys, for all your service and your hard work, and we we couldn't have done this without you, so we really appreciate it.
Common household object.
We are helping out and doing yard work and cleaning up hillsides of weeds. I'm about to prune the bush. Yeah, so we're here and we're, pulling out some stuff, weeds and rocks, lots of rocks.
Well, just having you here has been a blessing. It gives me joy and it gives me hope that what you guys are learning at church from our leaders is not just beneficial, but it'll take you through your whole life. And that's what we're doing, is growing that character for the rest of your life.
My name is Tessa Wolter. This is Cosette the Goat, and we're at Sunny Nunes' house. I was really excited because Eric has talked about Miss Sunny and just how much joy she has and her love for the Lord, like despite all of her surgeries. And so I was just super excited to meet her and kind of get to know her throughout the day, and then also get to like bless her and work on her house, and it's super sweet.
To have Eric, who was my flock kid, come back and be your leader, it just makes me want to cry. I know that just serving changed my heart. I was going to quit after Mexicali the first year because it was so hard, and 14 years later I followed up because it was about serving, it wasn't about me, and that's what I needed to get out of myself. And that's because I had a new life in Christ. It wasn't about me anymore. It was about serving Christ. And that you learn to die to yourself, and there's your reward. It's so encouraging and enlightening that your most joyful times are when you're serving. And years later you think back of the times you did and go, boy, those were the hardest days of my life, and those were the best days.
One of the ones that stood out this week was just a lot of the stuff that we were doing over at the Bay Area Rescue Mission. It was really interesting, first off, just to be there, to work around the people there, just to see a whole different side of the Bay Area that we don't often see, or we often neglect to see. And then in addition to that, serve them by preparing food, washing dishes, moving stuff in the warehouse. I know some teams are able to do gardening as well. And that for me was one of the highlights of the week. We even met this one worker there actually in the kitchen named Steve, and he was a huge blessing.
Glory. Hey chef, this is the boss. Amen.
One of those people that's just on fire for Jesus, Like you can see it in all of his actions, his attitude, his words especially. And it was just really cool to work alongside some of these people who have come from different backgrounds, have gone through different things, or in different areas of their life now, especially. Serving alongside them, it kind of opened my eyes and opened the eyes of people on our team to see how we're all serving the same God, right? And how we have that common unity throughout that. So that was cool in all aspects of Bay Area Rescue Mission. Again, whether we're doing food, warehouse, planting, VBSs, etc.
My name is Chris Dykes. I am the head chef here at the Bay Area Rescue Mission. I'm also the manager, and I oversee everything in there from ordering to scheduling to preparing the meals and planning them all.
Your challenge is to find out what the Iron Triangle is by the time you leave with us. And Jeff, don't cheat and tell them about the Iron Triangle.
We are in what they call the Iron Triangle. It's a lot with North Richmond is just like down the street, and there's a lot of gang activity, and we are actually in an area that a lot of crime happens.
You definitely hear the sirens, we see the yellow tape, and we know there are things going on.
We've seen a lot of gunfights out here. We've seen a lot of fights. We've seen people hit cars, do hit and runs.
I believe that I can honestly say in the 10 years that I know that I've been here, even though we see all of that going on, we haven't been deeply impacted by it, as if there is a shield of protection around us, and God is allowing us to continue to do the work that was started in 1965.
The Lord just got his hands on us here, and He protects us.
And it's been going strong for 17 years that I've been here.
We still need to understand the context of the people that we serve and how we get that done in this community, and been doing so.
This is a training facility. It's a culinary arts training facility. I teach them how to do knife skills. I teach them how to read recipes. I teach them how to make sauces. We show them, hey, here's how you be a cook in the real world. So whenever they're done with the program in the culinary arts, they can get a job somewhere else and use it as a reference. We also have a warehouse across the street where they can get the training in a warehouse, and like after they graduate from here too, they can move on and get a job at a warehouse somewhere. And we have like the contact office, the laundry, the janitorial. People are always moving forward and changing their lives.
Chris said, oh my gosh, that group that came in this morning was off the hook. They said they did this and did that. And mind you, we don't always, every volunteer who comes here, unfortunately, does not come as well prepared as you guys do. And they definitely don't show up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we give you kudos for that.
They're absolutely amazing. The last 2 mornings that I've been coming in at 5 o'clock in the morning and working with them, they actually took over the breakfast, and we were doing hash browns with scrambled eggs and sausage with bagels and a fruit salad, and I set it up with each of them to be in their own area, and they produce enough food to feed about 200 people for breakfast. They're ready, eager, and just say, yeah, let's do this. We do 9 feedings a day. It's 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, and 3 dinners. It's an average of 600 to 800 people that come through my kitchen. From 4 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, the kitchen's open. I love to give people nicknames in the kitchen. Giving them a nickname is like the guy, what's his name that works with you? I call him Tater. Abel, right. And whenever people are doing a job in the kitchen, I'll give them a nickname in there. I enjoy interacting with the group that's here. I'm a happy person. I like to make people laugh, and at the same time I got to get my job done, and it puts a smile on their face too and makes them happy.
Greeting them, actually looking in their eyes, helps to dispel the idea that the homeless are some of the most invisible people that we have right amongst us, because oftentimes it's difficult for us to look at them. You will meet some very interesting people, and you will hear different stories as to why they came here. But try and get a little bit of energy going so that you can make the most out of this time, and just really ask God to inspire you, motivate you, help you to move forward. If they try and take control of your junior chapel, you need to not let them do that. So it is a privilege for them to be able to be in junior chapel, because they don't get to do this every night. The only time we get this is when groups like you come and say you want to provide junior chapel for them, for the children. I think we had about 5 to 10 kids, but here's the thing. We learned with the groups that are served before, because you're talking about kids who are from 5 years old to 17. So you might want to break up the group and have something that would be appropriate for your older kids to age it up, and then for the younger ones to age it down.
I think with any teams, like, you kind of just go into it willing to serve as much as you can. You know, our team kind of just jumped right in, and they just asked us to start stacking boxes, and they were super cool about it.
There were a lot of people here that we were able to talk to, so that was refreshing to be able to sort of converse with the people you're working alongside, learn who they are, why they're motivated to do what they do, and crack Bible jokes.
Who is the wealthiest woman in the Bible? Pharaoh's daughter. She went to the river and found the little prophet.
Well, I think in a broad sense, a huge thing that reasons why we're doing this is to just glorify God through the trip. I mean, you know, by serving in this way and being able to help others and just share His gospel in how we do things. I mean, Billy talked about serving and giving it your all and just working with excellence.
In a general sense, I think that there are a lot of opportunities that we're given as we just kind of do tasks in front of us, because if we're doing tedious things that are really boring with joy, you know, then we're able to explain why we have the joy that's in us, and it's a perfect opportunity to explain the joy we have in God.
We live in a broken world that has rebelled against God, and everyone needs Jesus to be restored back to a right relationship with Him. So that's the message, and that's what we have come to preach.
This is my first time doing street evangelism.
I have never done this before. In fact, this is one of the few times I've evangelized.
Guide us here, Lord. I know that a lot of us are going to be pushed out of our comfort zones. A lot of us won't know what to do, what to say.
Jesus! Honestly, a lot of what's going to happen, very likely, is people saying, yeah, don't really want to talk to you, but yeah, sure, I'll take a tract, and I'll take one of these little things.
And it's something that I've just struggled starting to do. So now the fact that I'm in a situation where I have to do it, I'm excited for it.
And so we started out going to different doors, and the first, I think, 5, they just shut us out and said to go away, and they didn't want us to leave anything.
The main thing, I think, is to not try and make it about arguments and counter-arguments, but really just drive back the real issue of, what's wrong with the world and why we need Jesus.
And then the first door that answered and was receptive, he was Spanish speaking.
Well, you have a Spanish tract.
Can I have one of those?
You'll probably have a Spanish speaker with you.
You probably have 1 or 2, and the likelihood of that is just very small.
And it was a total God thing because I was with Mrs. Martinez's group, and so she was able to talk to him, and then we were able to just talk to some people on the streets a little bit. But a lot of them, I'd say almost 80 or 90% were just, I don't have any time.
That's really all we need to do. We just gotta be faithful ministers of His Word. Be normal people. I mean, we're not throwing Bibles at them or anything.
I think the training definitely helped us. One of the things was they said don't go to places where it says no soliciting. So often we'd look to make sure there was no soliciting sign, right?
There's a lot of really close people. All the people we've asked, the majority of the responses is right off the bat, I'm not interested and I don't want any of your stuff. But hopefully we were able to plant a seed, and maybe we won't be able to see it, but maybe one day you will walk back.
I didn't expect so many people not answer, but we also did go at a time where people aren't home because they're at work.
We left some tracts for people who didn't answer the door, maybe because they weren't there or because they drove by and then came back once we were gone.
I felt pretty prepared by the trainings. We had practiced in our team training time, just scenarios and stuff, and honestly those scenarios were a lot more challenging than what actually happened. And the people were just really respectful and open to what we had to say.
It was really interesting. A lot of what happened when we were going door to door was actually getting rejected or people not answering the door at all. Nobody was very hostile towards us. A lot of it was just polite, no, I don't have the time. And then we would just say, have a nice day, all right, can we leave something with you? Give them a little gospel tract and invite them to the church. And we had a few good conversations with people. One guy especially talked about how he was from a Catholic background. He didn't really know much about it himself. He just kind of went because his family went, and he still did. And we got to talk with him about a lot of stuff that he didn't actually realize. We just had a great conversation with him. I got to share my testimony with him, and I think it struck a chord with him. The training, I thought was very good. It did prepare us quite well. I mean, I had visions of a lot of more hostility. A lot of the people were very agreeable, didn't really expect that as much. There's really only one kind of more hostile approach where somebody just told us to get out from his front door just right away. That was kind of funny, actually.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It became a little bit more natural. I think it was really just the fact that after a couple times we kind of got over that fear. We was oh, God's there with us. We can rely on Him through this.
It's just a great experience to be able to talk about God with people and ask what they believe and just get them thinking, because God can use that. There's a lot of stuff that we can't see, obviously. We're just being faithful ministers of the Word, and God will do with it what He will.
I want to sing in Spanish. Okay. Okay. Me llamo Carlos Vázquez. Recibí el llamado del Señor para servirle en el año 2004. Fue así como empecé como copastor, aproximadamente 5 años que empezamos la iglesia. Y pues con pocos miembros, con pocas familias, empezamos a trabajar en un garage. Ahí fue donde nosotros comenzamos a hacer los estudios. La iglesia fue creciendo poco a poco y pues nos vimos en la necesidad de buscar un local. Así que hoy estamos acá. Yo hago esto porque también amo a Dios. Y pues Dios me ha bendecido también. Dios no me ha abandonado. Dios me ha dado techo. Dios me ha dado una muy excelente y linda esposa. Y Dios me ha dado 2 hijos. Pero al final, lo más importante es que si nosotros vamos a glorificar a Dios con nuestras vidas. En mi vida personal, el cambio más significante es que me estoy preparando, continúo estudiando en el seminario. Veo la necesidad de ser buenos pastores en español, que tengan buena doctrina en español, fundamentada en la palabra de Dios. Eso ha sido para mí bien significativo desde que empecé en el ministerio, porque no puedo ser un pastor y no prepararme.
One of our other partners throughout the week was the Little Roca Church, and that one was really cool because when we partnered with them, they had never done a VBS before. So they didn't really know what to expect, and we didn't really know what to expect from them going into it. And it was really encouraging because the first thing we did is when we walked in, what they ended up doing was all around the walls they plastered pictures of magnifying glasses and secret agent footprints and just decorated the entire room in the way it looked like it had been done for a day camp at a much bigger church. So that first day we did VBS with them, we played games, we did some crafts, and then that night they had one of their own people do the lesson. And when they did so, they got more involved in that whole theme that we'd given them. And the two people that are doing the lesson, they dressed up as spies and they were giving the lesson, pulling through the Word of God, but also tying it back to that theme. And we're really running a VBS in ways that even we, the students who were preparing the VBS for them, weren't prepared to do. So that was really encouraging to see how we kind of pulled alongside them and how they just took what we had given them and ran with it even further. And we're hoping that they can even do more VBSs even by themselves, reaching out to the community over there in the future.
Esta actividad pues no hubiera sido posible sin la fuerza de los jóvenes. Yo tengo en nuestra iglesia, la mayoría somos familias, adultos que trabajan, pero tenemos muy pocos jóvenes. Y por lo tanto, lo que los estudiantes de Northcreek han hecho, lo que ellos han hecho de veras ha sido muy positivo. Creo que todos somos parte del cuerpo de Cristo. Si mis hermanos de Northcreek han venido a ayudarme acá, han ayudado al cuerpo de Cristo. Al fin y al cabo, la denominación no es importante. Lo que han hecho es que han contribuido para expandir el reino de Dios en los niños, pero también esto ayuda a los padres, porque detrás de cada niño hay un adulto, hay una familia. Creo yo que una forma es, pueden orar por nosotros, incluirnos en las actividades, porque yo me siento realmente bendecido y a la vez me siento humillado que una iglesia grande nos ayude a nosotros. Siento que un hermano mayor está ayudando a un hermano menor y eso no lo hacen todas las iglesias.
Continue to grow this ministry because it's been fruitful and profitable here, and I'm thankful to have had the chance to serve with such great youth. I'm so encouraged by my younger brothers and sisters from Northcreek Church and what they've been able to do here.
Well, I think that one of the things that I would like to see happen is just, again, a continue and renewed passion just to continue to pray for us as a church. One of the areas that you can really be in prayer for is elders. I've been here now for 5 years. I've been pastoring this church for 15 years. And in that 15-year time period, I haven't met very few candidates who were viable candidates for elders. I know long-term for the strength of this church and the growth of this church, that's what needs to happen. We've seen a lot of growth in different areas, but in terms of male leadership, we haven't. And so continue to pray for the men of this community that they will understand that they're called not only to their families, but they're called to God's church as well.
You guys were a blessing and you guys are great, and I got you till Friday. I'm happy about that, and I just really love your group because they just want it. They're eager, like I said, they want to do this, and they don't hold back. Yeah, let's get it done. And they're doing a fantastic job.
Quiero que oren por la salud de Isa y quiero que también oren por el apoyo emocional que mis hijos también cruzan, porque en estas circunstancias no solamente es mi esposa quien sufre, somos todos. Oren por nuestra iglesia para que crezca en medio de este dolor.
I love being here, and I love all of you, and it's just an incredible gift to be in your presence.
I thank God every day for our partnership and also for the great leadership of your pastor. We love you. I love you, Northcreek.